Literary works delve into the presence of the past in the present. They reassess the relationship between past and present and shed light on the multifaceted roles that memories play in shaping identity. They also underscore the selectiveness of memory, emphasizing that the portrayal of memories often reveals more about the rememberer's present desires and denials than about the actual events of the past. This holds especially true for cultural memories, which involve intentional shaping to a greater extent than individual memories. As a result, literary fictions serve as influential models for both individual and cultural memories, as well as for understanding the nature and functions of memory. The study of literary representations of individual memory processes has been a central focus in literary studies for some time. Scholars have explored how literature, both thematically and formally, intertwines with the complex themes of memory and identity across various epochs. And while the study of individual memory representations has long been established, scholars have only recently begun examining literary representations of collective memory. Narratology, which extensively engages with forms of literary memory, has proven invaluable in exploring memory representation. Narratological approaches highlight the formal and aesthetic characteristics of literature, revealing the fictional possibilities for constructing worlds or memories. These approaches suggest that literature employs specific literary techniques to explore the connection between memory and identity. Not only does literature make memory and identity the subjects of explicit reflections, but it also implicitly represents this relationship through various semanticized forms. The concept of semanticization of literature, the narrative techniques serve as independent carriers of meaning, contributing significantly to the creation of meaning and offering rich interpretive possibilities. The term fictions of memory has recently emerged to designate texts that represent processes of remembering. This term encompasses both literary narratives that depict memory processes and the stories individuals or cultures tell about their past to define their identities. These stories, often imaginative reconstructions of the past, are shaped by predispositions, biases, and values, finding expression in literary plot lines and myths. In fictions of memory, the process of remembering is evoked through the mimesis of memory, which refers to the narrative forms and aesthetic techniques used to stage and reflect memory workings in literary texts. Rather than imitating existing versions of memory, novels produce past events through discourse, creating new models of memory representation that influence readers' understanding of the past and contribute to the negotiation of cultural memory. Literature actively shapes cultural memory, offering fresh perspectives on the past and engaging in ongoing dialogues with prevailing cultural discourses. If we begin with the premise that literature is not an isolated entity, but rather an integral part of a culture's primary processes of meaning making, interacting with other symbol systems, then an examination of how literature portrays memory can offer insights into a culture's prevailing concepts of remembrance. Literature serves as a reintegrative interdiscourse that is interwoven with various systems such as psychology, historiography, law, or religion, drawing upon culturally circulating contents and concepts of memory. In creating their fictional worlds, literary works utilize culturally dominant ideas of memory and represent them through aesthetic technique, reflecting cultural preconceptions. Narrative techniques, far from being timeless constants, are historically contingent strategies that provide interpretive frameworks specific to particular periods. Literature embodies a form of cultural reality appropriation, employing specific imaginative tools that are marked as fictional. In this context, an analysis of fictional representations of memory reveals culturally prevalent concepts of memory, notions of self and other, and sanctioned or unsanctioned memories. Narrative texts employ a wide array of aesthetic techniques to depict memory processes, ranging from narrative mediation and the portrayal of inner worlds, time and space, to intertextuality and plot design. These narrative devices convey culture-specific understandings of individual and collective memory implicitly, shedding light on a recurring feature of fictions of memory is the presence of a reminiscing narrator or figure who reflects on past experiences from a present perspective, attempting to instill them with meaning. Retrospection or analepsis, recollections of past events from the vantage point of the present, is a fundamental characteristic of these narratives. Such narratives operate with co-present time perspectives, intertwining past and present in complex ways. Analepses are often organized chronologically to bridge the gap between past events and the present moment, contributing to the psychological development of fictional characters. However, contemporary fictions of memory frequently disrupt chronological order, emphasizing the disjointed nature of memory. The interplay between individual memory and identity is a central theme in these narratives, particularly through the tension between the experiencing or remembered self and the narrating or remembering self. This tension involves reconciling past experiences with current circumstances, shaping the construction of a narrative identity based on autobiographical memories. The success of this process depends on the narrative's ability to establish meaningful connections between past and present, revealing the continuity creating potential of memory narrations. Conversely, a failure to integrate past experiences into a coherent narrative may signal cognitive and emotional acuities, leading to a fragmentation of memory and identity. Thus, fictional representations of memory illuminate the complex interrelationship between memory, identity, and narrative construction. The tension between the narrative self or the narrating I and the experiencing self or the experiencing I can manifest in two primary ways, which lie on a continuum. At one end, the present context of recollection is minimal, and the temporal gap between remembering and the remembered is indicated mainly through past tense usage. Here, the reconstructive nature of meaning, including its dependence on present conditions, is obscured. At the other end, the present context and motivation behind the autobiographical retelling are prominent. In such instances, the narrative focus shifts between the chronological succession of the frame narrative and the multi-temporal layers of embedded memory streams, depicting memories as intertwined with their recall context. Contemporary literature increasingly features self-reflexive novels, reflecting a growing awareness of the fundamental challenges and limitations of constructing identity through the past. Meta-memory fictions combine personal memories with critical reflections on memory functioning, making the process of remembering itself the central theme. Through a paradoxical structure, they engage readers in ongoing dialogues, questioning closure and offering multiple avenues of interpreting their literary past. Such novels intimate that meaningful memories emerge not prior to, but through the process of remembering and narrating the past, subjecting memory to debate. This difficulty in appropriating the past is often emphasized by techniques of unreliable narration, of unique plots into possible worlds. Unreliable narration, recognized by textual or normative inconsistencies, leads to reinterpretations of the past, highlighting the polyvalence and elusiveness of past experiences. Novels representing the collective past employ perspective structures to negotiate collective memories, identities, and value hierarchies. Multi-perspectival narration provides insights into various memory perspectives, revealing the functioning and problems of collective memory creation. Fictions of memory challenge hegemonic memory cultures by integrating culturally separated memory versions and questioning established boundaries between remembering and forgetting. Through multi-perspectival expansion of the remembered world, they depict a panorama of coexisting collective memories, showing shared interpretations as well as incompatible memories. Divergent memory perspectives underscore the plurality of memory creation and the stratification of memory cultures, revealing the rifts and competitions within fictional memory worlds. The social pluralization of competing versions of the past can be further enhanced through structural multi-perspectivity, achieved through intertextual and intermedial references to the material dimension of memory culture. Intermedial references evoke the plurality of culturally circulating media of memory and versions of the past, turning the text into an echo chamber of the past. Allusions to legends, fairy tales, and myths suggest the intermingling of fact and fiction in cultural memory, highlighting these fictions as cultural documents that illuminate what a culture remembers as its past. Techniques of intermedialization also reveal the reality constituting nature of media, indicating that individual memories rely on external supports provided by culture. Thus, the appropriation of the past is constrained by conditions of medial dissemination, influencing whose memory versions will prevail in the struggle for historical definitional power. Time structure, narrative mediation, and perspective structure are central literary forms permitting the staging and reflection of memory creation. Novels have privileges within memory, experimenting with new memory concepts, amplifying marginalized memories, and exposing processes of individual and collective memory creation. While this overview of narrative techniques relevant to memory staging is not exhaustive, it is crucial to note the semanticization of space and the use of memory metaphors, both exploited by many novels to represent remembering processes. Space as a symbolic manifestation of individual or collective memories can trigger past experiences and underscore the physical presence of the cultural past inscribed in an architecture. Spatial metaphors in the rhetoric of remembering further emphasize this connection between space and memory. Processes of remembering are represented not only in novels but also in dramas and poetry. Dramas utilize dialogues and flashbacks to portray specific past versions or reenact events, while poetry, with its metrics and rhymes, affects and shapes cultural memory through heteroreferentiality, engaging a fictitious collective audience in recalling shared past events. Future investigations should consider the genre-specific mimesis of memory, acknowledging the unique devices employed in each literary form to represent memories. Literature, deeply intertwined with other systems of memory culture, not only draws from existing discourse but also has the potential to influence these systems productively. Approaches like functions Geschichte, translated as history of the changing functions of fiction, highlight literature's role in memory creation, suggesting that it possesses cultural effectiveness and can offer new perspectives on knowledge and values. The memory concepts depicted in fiction can impact extra-literary memory culture, shaping individual and collective perceptions of the past when actualized by readers. Through its aesthetic structure, literature serves as a medium for cultural self-reflection, paving the way for cultural change. Narrative psychologists have observed that novels, with their established plot lines and influential myths, offer powerful models for our self-narration and understanding of the past. By disseminating new interpretations of the past and identity models, fictions of memory influence how readers narrate their own experiences. They symbolically empower marginalized voices, serving as counter discourse and perpetuating conflict over the collective meaning of the past and remembrance methods. By connecting dominant discourse to unrealized possibilities of the past, they foster innovation and cultural renewal. Contrary to merely reinforcing existing memories, fictions of memory play a significant role in shaping new memory concepts. Literature, with its unique symbolic characteristics, fulfills functions that other symbol systems cannot. Consequently, studying fictional narratives becomes a laboratory for experimenting with culturally acceptable constructions of the past, transcending particular life worlds.